Okay, here we go. We're going to do stuffed pork chops with cinnamon raisin bread. And we're going to put in an apple, a little bit of celery, and that's about it. Some other stuff, egg and milk and all that. I just made this bread this morning, so it's very moist. We're going to have to dry it out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up in cubes, and then I'm going to put it into this toaster oven for about 20-30 minutes just to try to get it to dry out a little bit. It's very, very moist. Okay, I'm cutting it here. I'm going to put it on that pan right there, and we're going to throw it in the toaster oven. I got to tell you, these pork chops, this is really a good recipe. I mean, even though I don't have a recipe, they taste very good. You just have to wing it, you know, with the stuffing. There's the pork chops right there. They're about an inch thick. Now you can use ones with the bone or ones that are boneless. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. We're going to put in 1 egg into that amount of bread. All right, watch this. This is a little trick here on the celery, especially the big celery. You know, the older celery, the veins here, they're very tough. So if you get your knife underneath like that and just pull it, you can pull all those strings off, and it really does make the celery a lot less tough. You know, it's not quite as tough as it would be if you left it on there. All right, anyway, we're going to chop them small. You got to chop them small. Okay, now we're going to put the egg in. All right, we're going to mix that up a little bit. There, it's mixed. I added about, I don't know, 1/8 of a cup of water into it. There's a little salt. Here comes some sage. Sage is a pretty mild seasoning. So, you know, don't be afraid of using a lot of it. You know what I mean? It's a pretty mild stuff. It doesn't overpower anything. There goes some pepper. No garlic in this. Oh, I'm also going to add 1 apple. The apple's coming up here in a minute. Going to put the veggies in. The celery. There's no onion. Although, you know, when I ate them, you could have put an onion in there. You know, it wasn't that bad of an idea. An onion would have tasted good in there. All right, so here comes the apple. You just want to make sure you chop everything small. Also, on a dressing, on a stuffing, the important thing is the egg. You know, if you don't have enough egg, your stuff is going to fall apart. If you got too much egg, it's going to be like rubber. So you got to have the right amount of egg. Like I said, I have 1 egg there, a little bit of water, and in a couple minutes I'm going to add some milk to it because it's still a little dry. All right, here comes the cubes of bread out of the toaster oven. They could have dried overnight. You know, they're really not 100% dried, that's for sure. You know, you could have left them in there longer. But that's all right. You know, hey, we're just winging this. There is no recipe for this. You know, it's just all done by eye, you know, or by taste. All right, so that's the dressing that's going to go into the pork chops. I got to add a little bit of milk to it. It's still kind of dry. And 1 egg is still enough. You know, if I was to add any more of anything, it would take another egg. You know what I mean? After I add this little bit of milk to it, if there was anything else added to it, it would have needed 1 more egg. So just keep that in mind, you know. All right, there. That's plenty. Okay, Now, when the dressing came out of the oven, it was very nice. It wasn't rubbery, and it wasn't falling apart. It was, you know, it was all held together. One egg was enough for this amount. But like I said, if I would have added anything else, I would have had to add another egg. So just keep that in mind. You know, the egg is the important thing here. All right, now there you go. The bread has absorbed all of the egg and the milk. I'm going to tell you about that sauce in a minute. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, these are the pork chops. They're at least 1 inch thick. They're pretty thick pork chops. And like I said, you could use them with the bone or without the bone. It doesn't matter. But again, they're 1 inch thick. You know, they're pretty big pork chops. All right, now look, when you go to stuff it, you're going to make a hole. You need a very sharp knife for this. All right, so you're going to make a hole, and then don't make the hole any bigger than the blade of the knife. Maybe just a little bit bigger than the blade, but not much. You know, you want to hollow it out. You want to try to get the blade in there and then move the blade back and forth so that the hole stays small. All right. The reason is because you don't want all the stuff to come flying out. You know, all the dressing. You know, when the dressing gets hot, it's going to expand because of the egg. So, you know, if you just cut them, butterflied them, and then try to put the stuffing in, forget it. It's all going to come out of there. All right, this way it's going to stay in there. Okay, now I'm using a pastry bag. But if you don't have a pastry bag, well, then you have to make the hole a little bit bigger. And then you're going to have to use a spoon. It's best to get a pastry bag from somewhere. You can buy them online. All right, there. Now look at the size of the hole on the end of the pastry bag. It's small. Okay, now there we go. We're stuffing that thing. Wow, look at that, man. That thing swelled up. You can see how small the holes are. That hole's only about as big as my thumb. All right, there you go. Oh, man, look at that. Woo! That thing tripled in size. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in a hot pan, a saute pan, on the stove, just to get them a little bit brown, you know, just for the flavor. Then I'm going to put the dressing into a small pan and cook what's left of the dressing. There, you can see the size of the hole. It's very small. That's what you want. You want to try to keep it as small as possible. Now, if you had it with the bone would be on the left side. You still do the hole on the right side. But if you have the bone on there, then what you want to do is you want to take the knife right to the bone. You know what I mean? Scrape the bone. You know, and that way you'll fill up the whole thing. Okay, the dressing there that I have extra, I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to put that in a smaller pan and just bake it along with the pork chops. And why is this taking so long? I have no clue. I don't know what's going on here. All right, here, something's happening. All right, there. There's the pan. I got some hot olive oil in there. We're just going to let them brown on one side, and then I'm going to flip them over onto that pan with the tin foil, and they go into the toaster oven. That's another good thing about this. You don't have to heat up the whole oven. You know, you could probably put 4 of them in a toaster oven and you know, save yourself some heat in the house if you're not using the big oven. But anyway, there's the little bit of dressing that's left. It's also good, you know, if somebody wants extra dressing, you know, I mean, never throw that away. I never do that. I never throw it away. All right, here comes the pork chops now. They're coming off of the stove. There they are. They just have a little bit of brown on them. No big deal. All right. Okay, we're going to put them in the pan here. You know, they're still raw. There's no doubt, man. They're raw. You can see the pink, you know, on the outside. They are definitely raw. All right, I'm going to put that on there. It goes into the toaster oven for, I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes at 350. Okay, here they come. They're coming out somewhere. There they are. All right, they're done. Now, when the dressing, when the egg and the dressing heats up, you know, it's going to swell up. So they look even bigger than when they went in. Okay, by the way, cook them to about 180. If you cook them to 180, then you'll be sure that the dressing is cooked. You know, I wouldn't go too much over 180, maybe 190 maximum, but you know, I wouldn't go any further than that. All right, there you go. Man, look at how thick that thing is. Woo! I got to tell you, they were very good. Trust me on this one. All right, now that pan that I had earlier with the sauce in it, here's what I've been doing. When I put a piece of beef, there's the little Chobani or whatever those are. Chobani yogurts, all right? I saved the little cups. And when I put a piece of beef into the crock pot, you know, I let it simmer for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. The beef comes out, it's as tender as can be. And what I do is I save the water that's in the crock pot, and I put it in those little Chobani cups, and then I freeze them. So that sauce right there is made from beef, and I added some chicken base to it. It doesn't really taste like beef, and it doesn't taste like chicken. It kind of tastes in the middle. It kind of tastes like pork. And you know, you could pull them things out anytime you need one, you know. I mean, it's a very good idea to do that. To put the beef juice or chicken stock or, you know, whatever you have, put it in little cups and freeze them, you know, and, you know, you can pull them out whenever you need them. Okay, here comes some peas. I just threw some frozen peas in the microwave, and you know, that no big deal there. The big deal are those pork chops, man. Whoo, they are good. That cinnamon bread, celery, apple, water, 1 egg, some milk, sage, salt, and pepper. That's it. All right, listen, I got to tell you something. You might be able to find this somewhere else around in town, but you're not going to find it any better than this. I got to go. I got to eat.